How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Monday live stream. It's good to be back with you guys. It's good to be here to celebrate the month of madness, the craziest month of my career so far. Nothing really over the top, just a lot of events are coming my way. I have a lot of stuff planned, multiple double gig on a few days. I have probably like 5 double gig where I'm working a corporate event in the morning and I'm doing something else in the afternoon. So it's gonna be a rough month of September, but I just welcome it. It's good to work. It's good to be in demand and everything. So really glad to be spending one of those days with you guys. I'm gonna try to spend as many Mondays as possible with you, but it won't be possible for me to do it every Monday. This month, I'm probably going to skip 1 or 2 just because I'll be busy working for events and stuff like that. So that's got to be it. I want to know, how was your weekend? How did you guys use your wing, use your other console? Anybody had experience with maybe console that I don't know about or don't know much about? I'm always welcome to know if you ever come up or if you ever come across some really cool stuff. Like something that I want to try is the Wave LV1. I've never tried one. To me, it looks like a brilliant setup where you have the 2 touchscreen. I'm not a fan of touchscreen fader, but I understand that some people travel with that. It makes sense to some people. I prefer to have physical fader. So if I were to set up something like an LV1, I would probably have, it's a 2-screen console if you don't know. You have a first touchscreen in front of you and you have another touchscreen laying flat where you're supposed to have fader. I would like to do that, but having another row of fader in the bottom, physical fader, just because for the tactile feel of mixing something. When I'm mixing a band, I'm always keeping my hand, on the fader. So with tactile screen, it's working, but you never know if you are on the fader next to it, if you in between the two. So I prefer to have that. Robert, good to see you, man. It's been a while. I hope you're doing fine. Enjoying some lovely beverage. It's late Europe time for you time. Well, not late, but it's afternoon, evening time in Europe. It's the middle of the afternoon here in North America. Man, my sleep schedule is weird. I basically just woke up or set an alarm to wake up at noon to do this live stream because I was working on a wedding on Saturday and I went around the clock. I started, actually I did a double. I went out to help some of my friend that was replacing me on a gig with a band. And after that, because it was really close from where I live, so after that I left and I've been doing a wedding, ceremony, supervising the DJ, doing the lights for the whole afternoon until 5 in the morning, until we finish wrapping up that room. So my sleep schedule is all over the place, working from 8 in the morning until 5 in the morning after. I'm getting old to do those things. Mickey, I've been using the LN8, the CQ B20B, where I work. Simple. I don't know which one is the CQ20. Curious to check that out. Give me a second. I know the SQ stuff, but the ANH CQ20, is this an iPad base? Oh, it's like an XR18. We're gonna get to that, Rolf. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Let me grab a picture just so I can show you guys what we're talking about. We're talking about, I'm not gonna say a rip-off, but something that is really, really close to an XR18. Small mixer, 16 by 8 plus a few extra 1/4 inch, which is good. I mean, I'm always welcoming quarter inch. They're always time saver. Is it the same as the SQ stuff? Is it the same software or architecture as the SQ stuff? Really curious to know, because the SQ stuff is honestly okay. The SQ stuff is not bad. I'm not a fan. Let's be clear about that. I don't like, every single console is going to force you to sound a certain way, or they have a color. They have their own sonic footprint. So I'm not a fan of the SQ stuff. Can I do a gig with one? Yes. Is it going to sound fine? Yes. I just don't like where it pushes me. Like, I'm not a sonic fan of Yamaha. Yamaha's doing great product. They have, solid reputation in the world of live sound. They've been doing this for years. They popularized the digital console back in the day with the M7CL, but M7CL never sounded good, to be honest. Nobody, even back then, people were saying like, yeah, it's not the greatest sounding console in the world, but it packed back in the day so much for so little space, which is ridiculous when you think about it with nowadays mentality, where the Pro One that I have here has way more, sounds way better and everything. But back in the day, the M7CL was affordable and it replaces a lot of outboard gear. The small island and each stuff is kind of the same thing. It's a really compact console. The SQ5 is a really compact console. I wish the Wing would have the same, compact version of having a few fader, a touchscreen, a couple knobs on the side. I'm sold to that. I'm sold to that footprint. But the UIs never appealed to me. The sonic quality is not bad, like I said, but it's just not the one that I prefer. I prefer I've said that many times, I prefer my DL preamp, my DL251 or my DL31. They are great sounding preamp. Those are basically XL4 digital preamp version of the XL4 preamp. Well, digitally controlled version of the XL4 preamp. And I love them to death. They are the pinnacle of live sound preamp available out there. Maybe, if you want to be picky about stuff, maybe the Neve that is available on the big series of Yamaha is a better option, but they cost, a pack of 8 in, 8 out costs more than the Wing. So, all right, I want to know, how many of you guys watched, that's not a British, how many of you guys watched the video that I just released? I'm curious to know. What's up, Downs of Dream? Good to see you, man. Same layout and look, but a little different stuff in programming. It's like buying an iPhone ready to go, to me anyway. Okay. I'm pretty sure it sounds good, but it's just, it's really clean sounding. I'm not used to have preamp that react this way. And I think this is the right phrasing that I should use from now on. The way that the sonic reaction of the preamp, or the way the preamp feel, is not the way that I'm used to, or the way that I like for that to feel. I'm really well trained on M32 X32 console, and nowadays, the more and more I drive away from those little console, the more and more I understand that I understood how to make these sound good, but they were very limiting, even sound quality wise. Once you end up on the Midas stuff, it just feels more open, it's just flowing a little better. So we'll see. I'm sorry, I'm reading Dolls of Dream stuff. Little Bird told me the Wing rack soon. Yeah, I hope so. I honestly have no idea about the wing rack release date. If somebody know, well, good for you, but I don't know. Mickey, so I'm so used to the X32 myself. I got this 3 months ago. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get different sounding result on the LNE stuff versus the X32 or M32. And those designs are about 10 years apart too, so you have to consider that when it comes to, preamp availability of chips and everything, because we live in 2024 where I don't know, man. Chips are apparently hard to get by. Not everybody has access to the stuff that we used to have. So even probably the newer X32 don't sound the same as the old one, because they probably change the design there, or they change the chip manufacturer, even if it's the same footprint. Like in the conversation that I had with Pete Sadler at Midas, when I was looking at the HD96 Air, depending on the type of processing, it's going to change the overall sounding result of a plugin. Like Sharp processor, we were talking about Sharp processor versus FPGA processor. For those of you who don't know, it's basically the architecture of the unit inside the console that do the processing for you. Because the consoles are just big computer that process sound really fast. And the type of architecture that you're using is apparently determining the sound that you're gonna get out of a plugin version. So if you're using an FPGA or a Sharp processor, you may have sonic difference. Can you hear the Pete Sadler's question at the end of the day was, can you hear the difference? Is there a difference? And well, there's a difference, but can you hear the difference? Down's a dream. I want you to show us how you ring out monitors without graphic EQ. I don't have any monitor right now, but I can definitely do a video on that. But the thing is, and I want you guys to help me out with that. Mickey's, yes, there's a difference to you, but not for the drunk people listening to what you're doing. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is something that I'm getting a bit tired of. And don't worry, Don's Dream, I'm going to go back to your question, man. But this is something that I'm really getting tired of. People telling me that, why would I spend money on better gear? It doesn't matter. It's only going to matter to me. It's only going to matter to, the few people in the room. Well, those person's opinion counts, and usually they are the one that either pay for the band performing before or after you guys, and they are probably your friend or people that have, that care for you. So, I'm sorry, reading the chat again. All that to say that I'm getting tired of that mentality that it's never worth to improve. Like, an X32 is the gold standard and we don't need anything else. I'm a little tired of that mentality, because this is not how you make stuff better. Settling for good enough, is not a driving force that's gonna push your career or anything. You're just gonna settle for good enough. And I'm so tired of that mentality in the show business of, well, the production don't want to spend, $100 more on the rental of a better console. They're just gonna buy, or actually, you know what, we're not gonna rent. We're just gonna buy an old X32 and you'll have to tour with that, and good luck. because we can actually fit the band on 32 input. Example. Not something that I like. Not something that not the kind of mentality that I want to hang out with. I'm looking for people that want to get better tone, that want to, that want to push. That want to push the envelope, that want to, give a better result for the crowd, better result for the musician performing on stage. And I strongly believe, like in the video that I just released, the way that you hear yourself, the way that you monitor yourself, could be through in-ear to floor monitor, the way that you're hearing that is going to affect your performance a lot. And the better, the more comfortable that you get, the better show or the better performance that you're going to give to the crowd. And I believe that this is selling tickets. Because again, I had a conversation the other day with a production that I'm not working with anymore. And the reason why I'm not working with them, or one of the reasons why, is they cheap down on sound engineer salary and sound engineer sound budget. The reason is it doesn't really matter for them because, in a room of 500 people, there's only 500 people. They prefer to hire a social media guy, somebody going to show up with a camera or even a phone sometime. And it's gonna spread, picture of the show, is gonna give out, more exposure to way more people on social media than the people were in the room. So that production preferred to invest more money on a social media guy versus a sound engineer. They're just going to use whatever they have there. If it's a good day, it's a good day. If it's a bad day, it's a bad day. And more people on social media will see that artist perform or picture or pieces of that show, and the people in the room are just left with whatever leftover they have on the table. Not something that I'm really a fan of. Not the mentality that I'm striving for. So, good monitoring is going to help you. X32 is fine. The SQ stuff is fine. I just prefer this DL251, DL231 preamp versus a lot of that stuff. But I'm just I'm about to be an old grumpy sound guy. Basically, that just has his way and nothing else is good. Well, the wing, if you want to hear the difference, the wing, depending on the preamp that you have, of course you're going to get a difference. If you're getting like, and funny enough, the other day I was at a show. I'm not going to name the band, but I was at a show and the front of house guys is using a wing. Nothing bad here. But I asked him after a while, what's going on with those preamp that you have? What kind of preamp you're running? Because it doesn't sound like I'm used to. Because I'm used to have my DL231 or my 251 with my wing. And he told me, well, on stage is a Yamaha stuff, the QL or CL5. Don't remember which one, but basically a Yamaha console. And they're using Rio. And he's getting a Dente feed out of that in his internal Dente card, like the one that I have here, your Dente card. So basically his routing is all his channel source are the Dente module, and he's grabbing everything from there. So he's using the Yamaha preamp with the wing. And I heard that it was Rio stuff. The preamp have a sonic. The preamp have a color. Maybe not on one, but if you multiply that by I don't know, 40 input on vocal, on drums, on everything, it's slowly adding up. And I can hear the difference. I was like, okay, yes, now that you're telling me, I could not, it could have been the PA, it could have been something else, but I was like, yeah, now that you tell me, I could tell that it was not the preamp that I'm used to hear, but now that you tell me it's Rio, I was like, yes, it does sound a little bit like a Yamaha. Because the console itself has a color, but is really transparent. It's not going to be the big difference. Where I believe the conversion, the stage preamp, and the conversion does have an impact on the source. Well, actually, the source has the biggest impact. After that, the PA, but maybe a 5 to 10% is coming from the preamp once you add them up. So yeah, at some point, yes, preamp do add up, and it's making a difference. Okay, let's go back to where I was a few minutes ago. I want to talk about Ralph's question. Anybody here? Yeah, the DL32 is, you're going to hear a difference, a sonic difference. Well, it has a color. It has a color. I'm not going to say that everybody's going to hear the difference, but sound engineer will hear the difference between, preamps. Hold on, let me just do a quick zoom in on the chat so I can read you guys really good. All right. One more. Getting old. The text 12 character 5 feet away from me on a 10-inch screen is getting small. So just need to fix that out. We're good now. Let's go back about Rolf's question. Yeah, you hear it, but not everyone, and it's okay. Some people are basically tone deaf. So what are you going to do about that? They cannot tell the difference between a higher and lower note, so they just enjoy the music. And at the end of the day, it's what matters. Enjoy the music. It's not because it doesn't sound... Well, actually, even if sometimes you're limited with a bad PA on a bad day, you can still have a good mix and make people having a good mix but not translate really well, or not in the sonic, in the whole spectrum of sound, not sounding the more defined, the more low end heavy, but you can still figure out a mix out of that, and it's probably gonna make them having a good day. Okay, Roberto Sanchez, is there a way to connect ADAT to my wing? I know, it's just that I have a lot of ADAT gear, and it would be great to connect it with the wing. Just curious. Really good question. I don't know from the top of my head if there's an ADAT card available for a wing. I don't think so. I think it's only on the X32, right? Can anybody in the chat here confirm that? I don't think they released an expansion card. Yeah, no ADAT yet. Okay. Is there a way... Is there a way to connect those? Like, I'm gonna say something that probably doesn't make financial sense, but I believe the DL16 bucks have a 16 in, 16 out ADAT port. The X32 core with ADAT card, yes, but that X32 core is gonna be more expensive. They sell for a lot. I got rid of mine recently in X32, ADAT card, then AS50. But let me ask you, Roberto, what are you connecting to those ADAT? Is it just like the Behringer, the ADA 8000, I believe? Because if you're doing that, maybe you're better off just like sell one of them and buying a stage box. It will probably be cheaper for you to get a DL16 than try to recycle that. And also, you know, New Gear Day. Hey, Ivan. It's been a while, man. Long time no see. Definitely. It's been a couple months. Good to know that you're still around. Still kicking. Glad to have you. That's a dream. I hear the difference between the S32 and the DL32. Less noise floor, and for sure in the DL32, seems a little more headroom and more bandwidth in the low end too. I believe the noise floor is different that I heard, and I'm just trying to remember the time that I, noticed that I am using this 32 preamp. I didn't play much with the DL32 to be honest, because most of the time I'm using an X32 or I'm doing a DL251. Yeah, they definitely don't sound the same, but I don't know the difference for sure. But yeah, if I remember correctly, yes, it would make sense. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading. Roberto, no, it's an old DSP card, full of synth, 32 channel in and out, and in fact, that's still rock, and I do synth. Well, do you have analog output on these? Because I would probably guide you through the Stage Connect stuff. You could have, those are basically in and out line level box that are cheaper than stage box. You can probably get a pair of Stage Connect device, and you could give you 32 input if you have, you probably need some kind of conversion, but you probably can get that, and it will be a good option for you, because also you will be not limited to having ADAT stuff. They will basically act like converter or having more line in and out. Yeah, the DN48 to USB, the Stage Connect. Yeah, I believe converting to Stage Connect will be a good option for you if you have the ADDA. But honestly, if you don't have the preamp, yeah, what Rob says. Delta Drain, come on, you know that Rob know everything. Why are you trying to compete even? Man, sometimes my viewers. Yeah, sorry, getting back to the subject. Maybe you could get, if you don't, I'm not sure to understand your full setup here, but maybe you can get a pair of HA8000. They're sell for really cheap on the used market. Those are really good converter. You could just use them, go ADAT to your device and go to analog and go to Stage Connect, and I believe it will be the way to go. But yeah, it would make sense if anybody at Behringer is listening. It would probably make sense to have something like a DI box with 32 channel of ADAT going to Stage Connect. It would make a lot of sense to have that. I believe it will be something that will sell in the studio, or even not in the studio, but even for backtrack. Because some guys, they have their own sound interface and they have ADAT in and out. You can probably just add that in the rack, connect light pipe from the output of your sound card into that little box, like a DI box, with is a four port in and out of ADAT, and convert that to Stage Connect. It will give you the full 32 in and out. So Ivan, back from vacation. Good for you, man. Take out some vacation during the summer is not easy for sound engineer. Waiting for Wing Compact to arrive. Cross our finger on that. I would love to have some. Also waiting for the DL8 and Hub 4 Pro. Well, my Hub 4 Pro is on the way. I ordered one already. Now that I believe I can tell you guys this. Now that I have access to the AVL stuff, the AVL lines, I'm able to get the dealer, access to the dealer through them. So I just like get myself a gift. My first order was a DL Hub 4 Pro, and I didn't buy a DL yet, but I'm probably gonna buy one. The more I'm thinking about this, I wanted to go Stage Connect with my future upcoming wing rack rig. I want to have a wing rack and I want to have 32 input, because basically that's all I need for smaller bar gig. So I was thinking about getting something like a DN4888, so I could have 8 in, 8 out for wireless and stuff like that. But I believe it will make more sense to have preamp, especially for the price of the DL8. I think it will be a better option for me to just run that. And I want to have a Pro in that rig because I believe the fact that I will be able to convert to a Pro 1. Let's say that I want to have, I don't know if it's going to work, but I need to figure it out. If I could have a wing rack on stage and using a Pro series for front of house, using 2 cable, if I can convert from those preamp to there, I'll be more than happy to just do it. Even if I'm running 48K preamp, I'm fine with that. Absolutely nothing to worry about here. I wish it was a way to run 48K, 96K session, not 48, 98K session on the wing for studio stuff. Sometimes I have 96K session. I wish a USB interface would do 96K. I don't think, I'm trying to think about the internal here. I don't think it will work because the amount of in and out needed, you know, usually if we doubled the clock, we would end up with only 24 channel over USB, which is not really good. Well, maybe, probably not enough. But let me ask you something. Can you insert the console? I'm thinking out loud here. Yeah, 24 will be enough for studio, but can we I'm coming back to you, Rob. Is there a way to insert? Okay, Dazzle Dream, are you on Mac? If you are on Mac and you do an aggregated device, I think you could keep your session at 96. You could do some inserts like I've did on, okay, you're on Mac. I believe it will work if you do a aggregated device. Use your interface for something else, plug that to 96. Use the wing as insert point in your DAW. I have a video where I show that if you don't know what I'm talking about. And I believe you'll be able to insert 48 channel. Of course, the processing on these channel from the wing will be at 48K, but I believe you could keep your session at 96, your full session at 96. Could be wrong, but I believe it will work with a aggregated device. Rob, the rack and the compact will have 24 analog input and 8 analog output, as I understand. I believe I will end up short on the output, doing bands, you know, and plus my left-right. So 16 output will make more sense to me if I'm doing a 5-piece band plus a left-right is going to be 12 out. So I'm going to need these. And having an extra 8 preamp is not a bad thing. Most of the time, I end up around 24 input, maybe less. But sometimes, you know, if you add crowds or if you have a guest showing up on a day, it's gonna be like, yeah. I did, okay. I don't know for you guys, but I've watched the picture, or the leaked picture of the compact and the rack, and I don't see 1/4 inch out anywhere. I don't know. I just don't see them anywhere in the picture, so I believe it will be only XLR out. USA, and if I'm not mistaken, it will be 24 combo jack on the wing rack, plus the 8 XLR out for sure. Because I believe the way that they design it, they have, you know, 2 rows of 8 plus another row of 8 and 8 output. When you look at the back of the console, you have like 1 to 16, 17 to 24, and 8 output. But under that, I saw the AES connection, but I didn't see anything that resemble ATRS out. The question is, are 1/4 inch that I saw ins or out? I believe they will be output because it's already having 24 combo jack. Like the normal wing. We'll see. I wish. I mean, honestly, if they have that, I'm probably still gonna buy a DL8 just for that. Because I believe having the extra input, the extra 8 preamp will be useful for me. It will live in a rack. You know, I won't really care about it. I'm gonna have... Basically, the way it's going to be the wing rack, and under that it will be the 8 extra 32 input. And on the other side of the rack, I'm just going to put in-ear because they are, you know, really they don't have much depth, so I'll be able to put my in-ear in the back there and call it a day. But if anybody got the picture and can confirm, definitely saw TRS. Okay. Well, hold on. Let's check that out. Wing rack. It's probably all over the internet, right? Wing compact. Wing compact. Behringer. Because otherwise, those are really, really popular keyword. Where's the compact leaked version? Okay, I think I have the rack here. Yes, on Reddit you have the rack. Okay, so there is... I was wrong about the design, or maybe I saw another picture, but this is what I get in front of me right now. That's the back of the wing rack. So it's 24 preamp on the right when you look at the back of the rack. And on the other side, there are outputs. It looks like a row of 8, and it looks like a row of 1/4 inch out. To answer your question, Ivan, about the preamp in the DL8, I believe those will be the same preamp that are in the DL32. I could be wrong, but I believe they are the same preamp as the DL32. And from what I heard, apparently it's the same preamp in the blue box. All the Midas stuff is the same preamp. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not saying that anybody's lying. I don't have any official answer. Nope, not happening. No sneezing. All right. Okay, Ivan, you send me a picture on Messenger. Okay, let's take a look at that. Sorry, I'm on D&D mode. Nope, attach file not working. Anyway, there's definitely output on that, so I believe the TRS will be output. But is it the final design? I don't know. Yuli's blocking my Facebook account from me receiving new information. Maybe. Robert, 70% sure that will be 16 out. Okay, watching the picture again, I believe it will be 16 out. But if I remember, the compact picture were not. If I remember, the compact picture were not that. Were not similar. The compact had to. Yeah, well, no, it doesn't have to. They don't have to do anything. That's the thing. So we'll see what's going on with that. Oh, picture just loaded from Ivan. Okay. Let's take a look again. Okay. So that's the compact version. It's not the same as the rack. The compact version has 24 input. From, the top row seems to be 24 input, and the bottom row seems to be 8 output only. Yes, because I can see number 21, I can see number up to 24 on the compact. I see the output, but they are different color, but I don't know, man. I believe the compact version will be 24 input, 8 output. I don't see anywhere on it looking at the picture, and I'm pretty sure you can Google that if you want to have a better high quality version, but I don't see anywhere what they would have 1/4 inch. Never Grims. Hi Guillaume, greeting from France. Bonjour la France. Heureux d'avoir des amis francophones. Bonjour du Canada. Darwin, let's say I have a reverb in bus 1. Okay, sound question. There we go. This is what we're here for. Let's say I have a reverb in bus 1 and I want to send some reverb to bus 15 that the drummer is using in here. It won't let me send reverb because it only send and bus 1 to bus 8. Yes, you're not crazy. This is totally a design of the wing as we speak. You can only send the bus into the first 8 bus. Apparently, somebody somewhere has requested for us to send all the 16 bus in all the 16 bus, and also sending every channel into every single matrix. The request has been made. I don't know how fast it's gonna end up, if it end up happening at all, but people request a change in that, and I believe at some point it will probably happen, maybe in V3 or somewhere down the line. So it's not impossible for that to happen, but as we speak, if you are on a bus, if you have a bus up front, let me get my bus, you can only do bus, you can only send into bus 1 to 8 in the matrix. And if you are on bus, let's say 15, that is my plate. That's gonna be the limitation that you have right now on the console. Bus into bus send is only happening on the first bus and the matrix. So you have two options. You either change your drummer mix to be one of the first 8 bus, which is the mentality behind this principle, or you just don't have reverb. But there's another way around. If you absolutely want to have reverb sent into those in-ear, what you can do is create a effects return. Let's do this quickly. Let's say that I'm grabbing a channel that I'm not doing much with here. So channel 37, I can set the source of that channel to be my effects return from the rack. Let me go here. Let's say that I want to have my plate. To me, it's in my bus 15. I can have my plate being the source of that bus, and from there you can have your reverb going, and from here you can send it into all the different bus. You basically create an FX return, and that channel, all the channel can send into all the bus. So that's a workaround. You create an FX return and you can fix your problem. Honestly, what I would do is take the time to have your effects being last and having your in-ear mix being first on the console. I believe will be the way to go. Maybe you're running out of bus, but usually the way that people work is having their in-ear mixes first or the monitor mixes first and using the last 4 bus for effect. And that way, if you have, like I'm selecting 15, you can send your reverb into all your 8 channels. What's going on here? Doesn't like that. All right, but anyway, you get the point. Yes, you can have FX return and send that to any bus. A DN4888 would work also if I want to have more in and out, but if I'm if I spend money on something, I believe I'll be better suited with having a DL8. After understanding the product a little better, with the conversion unit that is the Hub 4 Pro, it's got to be better. And eventually, we need to check that out. Maybe in the future, you'll be able to drop in a Dente card inside those Hub Pro. Software-wise, it's not a feature. Well, actually, some of the picture leaked from the release of the Hub Pro, the Hub 4. Oh, come on, I need a word. The Hub Pro 4, Hub 4 Pro, Hub 4 Pro. Some picture leaked and said it will be able to convert or talking Dente. So maybe at some point in there is a Dente card slot in the Hub 4 Pro. As soon as I can get my hand on one, I'm going to open it up and we'll see what's going on with that. I'm going to need to have one in our hand before we know. But if they're talking about it, it means that they're thinking about it. It's in the process somewhere. Is it still in the talking, or is it in the production? I don't know. Maybe it's a different unit at all. Maybe the Hub 4 Pro is just going to be to convert from 48K to 96K, other way around. Is it going to control preamp? We don't know. Is it going to control, stuff like that? So to be determined what's going on with the Hub Pro 4 or Hub 4 Pro. I don't remember. Hub 4 Pro. Probably going to mix that up for a while. So, all right. Is there anything? We've reached a time where I ask you guys, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Because we've been going at this for almost an hour. I've just released a video. If you guys didn't see that, okay, self promotion right now. I just released a video. I believe it's interesting way of thinking. This was greatly inspired by Dave Rat. Dave opened my mind about a lot of that stuff and got me diving into understanding the physics of sound. And this is what we're doing. We're working with the physics of sound, especially in live more than studio, because we have no room of choice to work with. We have to work with the room that we have, with the reflection, with the PA not being at the right place for that room, or having multiple sound source on stage, and dealing with monitoring and stuff like that. So Dave opened up my mind about a lot of stuff, and he inspired me to do the video that I just released, where I talk about how understanding sound traveling into the air and sound traveling into gear got me a job as a touring engineer. as a monitor engineer because I fixed a problem that was going on for years that nobody understood about. So I don't know if you guys took the time to see it, but if you did, I really appreciate that. You didn't like the text, Rolf? What's up, Davelin? What's up, Davelin? It was somehow distracting. Okay, I tried to... Okay, two things here. I wanted to do that video, and I'm trying to apply a couple of rules of video editing because I have a really bad watch time on YouTube. People come to my video, they watch not even 20% of it, or between, let's be honest, between 25 and 50%. 50% on a video is a really good watch time. And I've watched a couple of video from Video Maker that, you know, have those viral video, and they basically explain that if you keep the video moving, if you keep the video, you know, this is why I'm doing all these slow moving, cutting out, bring it back in, moving. And I try to apply those rules here, having stuff that is more dynamic to keep the listener attention. Because people nowadays have the attention span of about 5 seconds before they skip to another video. They don't want to, you know, listen to me talking for an hour. Like most of you guys that are watching the stream for the last hour, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy good. You're not ADHD. You do not have, you know, whatever's is trending right now, whatever disease is trending right now. And you're the best listener in the world. Just stick with me for an hour, basically. So yeah. All that to say that this is the reason why I had the wobbly text, just to keep it dynamic, you know, to keep it moving. I'm not 100% satisfied with the result of that either, but this is what I found on the spot editing that video. I spent seriously a lot of time. Shooting that thing was a nightmare. I went out of the studio, I went to the venue, or one of the venue that I'm working a lot. I happen to have the key to that room, so I just, whenever it's empty, I just show up there and I can open up the light and do my thing. I'm probably going to use that room again to do some stuff because it looks really good. It's a real conference room. And yeah, doing the edit, doing the recording of that, I recorded for an hour and a half and I shorted down to less than 15 minutes. So I say a bunch of stuff, you know, I'm never, you know, on script. I'm always off script. I'm always just wing it and see what happened. And I try to make a lot of sense, or I try to make sense of that in the edit. So yeah, I figured out to have dynamic, you know, that glitchy text would be a good thing, but maybe I didn't do it right. I don't think I'm far out, but this is the way that I figure out to do it. This is how I try to animate or to be as dynamic as possible. But maybe dynamic text is too much. Maybe just having the text popping in and out, but not having it as wobbly or a different kind of, you know, glitching text. Taven, make a tutorial of equipment needed and how to tune a sound system. Usually I don't use gear to tune a sound system. I just play music into it, and I'm looking for stuff that is not correct. I know this is not the answer that you're looking for, but when I tune a sound system, I just play a song that I know really well, that I know sounds really good, and I try to make it as balanced as possible, and I'm using my ear for that. I'm not using, you know, tuning equipment. I do have a measurement microphone, but honestly, I'm only using it to check out in-ears in my in-ear review video. I don't bring it out on the road with me. So what I do when I tune a sound system, I play it loud. I'm listening for stuff that is too bright, too bass heavy, too mid-range sounding. I try I move around in the room and I'm listening for stuff. And what is not right, I EQ that out, or I don't add in a lot of stuff. I'm only gonna maybe add some subwoofer information. And that's about it. Go watch if you want to have something for now, go watch my vlog where I talk about, where was I? That time that I was in Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon. I don't remember the name of that vlog, but I basically show what I'm doing. It's the vlog of a sound guy. The thumbnail is the Pro 2. It's probably easy to find. Go take a look at that video, and in the middle of it, I show what I'm doing when I'm tuning the room. I'm playing a few songs, and I'm doing my best with that. So many commercials today. They changed something about that, Rob. They changed something about that. This is YouTube. This is not me. It's the same setting that I'm using. So maybe I'm popular. This is why they try to monetize out of me. Check on base. Hey, I want to quickly say thank you. Well, thank you for tuning in, man. Really appreciate the fact that you take time off, and I hope you learned something watching these live stream. A few streams ago, we had a conversation about when it's time to upgrade to another console. And I will be replacing my old SE Expression 2 with an Aventus Solo. Thanks for your help. Well, you're going to be happy with the Aventus Solo for sure. More flexible, more better console for sure. Why don't you go for an HD96? I'm just joking. It's not the same price for sure. Well, it depends on how deep you are in that architecture. Mr. David Ramsey. I'm in search of content for setting up my wing at my church, and thank you for content. My pleasure. Hope that helped. Basically, I need to start recording my worship team live sound during Sunday's service, and then work it out in later time on Ableton Live. I'm quite new to all of this. What's your advice? To record that, I would say the easiest way is to use the W Live Play. So recording to the SD card in the back is fairly easy. I have a video where I show how to use any size of SD card in there. You just need to format it with a computer basically, and make sure that you grab everything, put that on record, and mix away in Ableton if you want to. The other option would be to use the USB out of the console. If you have the computer connected to that, just record in Ableton and mix that later. But mixing tips in studio is definitely not something that I'm talking about, because I'm not a studio guy. I'm a live sound engineer. I'm dealing with PA, and I could not care less how something sounds on somebody's phone when I'm mixing live. So my approach differs a little from the studio guys. The studio guys, they're gonna tell you to compress that stuff like crazy and do a bunch of EQ and plug-in, where live you don't have those options. So my workflow is not adapted to those situations. When I'm doing, live stream, it's a different thing. Rolf, maybe a little bit more time to read the text may help for non-native English. Yeah, okay, that's something that I thought, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, man. My target was that is I tried to force people that are not fast reader to pause the video because it gives me more watch time. I did that dirty. This is the reason why some of the texts are not appearing for that long. Because YouTube reward people or reward content creator if they have people spending more time on their video. So yeah, I did a little bit dirty there. I wanted people to pause the video, basically, and go back. You know, when if I don't know if you know this, but maybe if you're not a savvy YouTube watcher, if you use the arrows on your keyboard, and that's good for everybody. If you use the arrows on your keyboard, it's gonna jump back and forth 10 seconds. So if you want to read a text, you just click your arrow, going back. You're watching it, didn't have time to read, watch it back, or you pause the video with the space bar. But if you just go back, it gives you watch time. So this is what people usually do, and this is the way that I try to getting a little bit more view time on this video, because I'm not, even if I have good numbers from time to time, like one of my vlog end up in probably closer to 100,000 view. Most of my video are below the 5,000 and the watch time is not that great for YouTube. I'm really happy with the watch time that I have, to be honest. I'm really happy that you guys come out and watch my stream, even if most of the streams have around 500 view per week. I found it totally crazy that 500 people, or let's say 400 people and 100 people watching it twice or in two parts click on this video. It's crazy to me. So yeah, this is how I try to go up the chain a little bit. I'm not Dave Rat. I do not have the 100,000 subscriber that he has, but yeah, I try to I try to squeeze out as much as I can and being respectful, because I could use the I don't want to go down in the trend of having super weirdo thumbnails and titles to clickbait people into my video. I try to be as honest as possible, but sometimes I try a trick or two. A video, a viral video guy is editing video tricks or two. Sorry. What do you mean the price, Jack? What do you mean the price? You cannot. Well, if you can afford a solo, you can afford a Air. I suspect the wing rack to be $15.99 map and the wing compact to be $24.99 map. When they get released, I would be surprised, man. I think it's gonna be way up. I think it's gonna be way more than that, to be honest. How much right now? How much is a compact, not a compact, M32R and the M32? I'll be more than happy to pay those prices, to be honest. Sweetwater lists the wing, the full size being 3,300. Hey, the result sound a bit too much of a difference. Yes, because I believe it will be the same. The X32 rack is $8.99 right now. Okay. First, let me say hi to Charlie. What's up, man? It's been a while. Where have you been? Where have you been? So M32R is 2,700 euros with case. Okay. Honestly, I was expecting something closer to the full size of the wing. I was expecting maybe, like, if the full size is 3,300, I would have say it's 3,000 for the compact version. Actually, they could even be in the same price, and I would buy one. Let's see how close you are, man. Sure, I'll be honest to say that the way that it work here in Canada, we can talk about this. You know, we're deep enough in the stream that we're people that are interested in live sound and stuff like that, and probably most of you guys know this. For the few that are the casual, the newbie around here, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that you guys are probably the new guys around. The way the distribution and sell stuffs work is when you buy something like a wing, you cannot buy from Behringer themselves, or maybe on their Amazon store, but I don't think they even deal with that. You have to deal it from a dealer, or sometimes the way that work is Behringer is gonna sell to a dealer, and that dealer are gonna sell to a store, and that store is gonna sell to you. This is the process that you may have to go through to get your hand like on a wing. For Behringer especially, it's a little different in a sense of they have certain store that are, you know, bigger reseller. They have their Amazon store. They have in the States, Sweetwater. In Canada, it's Cosmo Music. And I believe somewhere, maybe not everywhere in Europe, it's Tolman and probably Anderton. That talk with the people at Behringer. They buy, you know, hundreds of wing or hundreds of small console, and after that they sell it to their client. I have no idea what's going on with the wing because I don't know anybody here at Cosmo Music, which is the only way in for a wing in Canada right now. When I bought this one back in the day, they were sold by Intellimix here in Montreal, but they were the dealer. And if you were, like me, allowed to buy from that dealer, you could get your hands on it for, I mean, cheaper than the street price. And right now, I have no idea how much it's going to be because I cannot have the list with Cosmo Music. I don't know anybody at Cosmo Music, and they are selling to customer only. So you're going to pay pretty much map price for all the unit. This is how they make their money. You cut basically the middleman. Behringer cut the middleman by not dealing with distributor. They basically deal with one huge store that's going to sell all their stuff. But as of right now, in Canada, you have to buy from Cosmo Music for anything Behringer. Or, I believe, Amazon. I believe they have a deal with Amazon too. But you cannot get this stuff for dealer price, which is way cheaper. Because let's be honest, sometimes, you know, they can... dealer price could be 10 to 15% cheaper than the map price. So we'll see what's going on with that. I hope that you're right, Donald Dream, to be honest. I believe they say will be much cheaper for a smaller version. Yeah, let's see, but how is much cheaper? How much is much cheaper? They gotta crush Allen and Eat with the price again? Well, I hope so. If they can crush the SQ5 price, how much is an SQ5 right now? Everyone price went up, Behringer went down, even with the inflation and COVID price. Okay. But the thing is, Behringer, the Behringer brand, is not there to make any money. They sell stuff at cost, maybe like they make 1 or 2%, but they're basically losing money. And I don't know in what country they're doing their taxes in, and probably doing taxes in a bunch of countries. Oh, the SQ5 is $4,000. Yeah, it's gonna be cheaper than that for sure. What my understanding of the situation is that Behringer is there to lose money, so that the other bigger company like the Midas, the Clark Technic, the TC Electronic, the Lab Group, and the Tannoy of this world, that are all under the Music Tribe umbrella, which is not Behringer. Behringer is just another company. I believe Behringer is there to lose money, so Yuli can have his fun with his synth. They're also doing a bunch of great stuff, like, that is musician friendly. That's their approach. This is how he's giving back basically to the world by, doing stuff for really cheap, like the Wing. And they don't really make money out of those. It's fine because the other brands are making money, so that the whole full company is working. It's basically tax evasion at this point. Or maybe I'm not using the right wording, maybe not tax evasion, but there's definitely something happening with taxes, and you're losing on one side, you win on the other. At the end of the day, you have a zero, you don't pay any taxes, you get a bunch of money. And this is how all the big company in the world are working. If you know it or not, this is how the Apple of this world and the Amazon of this world work. They have, I don't know if you saw this in the news recently, but Amazon got in trouble because of their delivery company now. They have, Amazon Delivery, which is not the same company as Amazon, which is under another name, under the umbrella of another name. Accountants can go crazy about that, but this is basically what's happening. So if Behringer wanted to really give it a go to Allen and Heath, they can make a sweet deal on the compact version to beat up the SQ. But the thing is, the SQ right now, is really popular, and people are not gonna sell them to buy a Wing. Even if you have more feature on the Wing, to be honest. Like, I was talking about that the other day. Downward expander are great. This is something that I'm using on pretty much everything. They are a lifesaver for me. I don't want to own a console that doesn't have them, even if this one doesn't have one. If anybody's good with Linux software, I want to figure out a way to have downward expander on the Pro Series. I'm going to send you an ISO file. Figure it out, and I'm going to load it in the console, and I want to have downward expander. If anybody know how. Just sending the message out there. But yeah, basically, Behringer can give it a go to Allen and Heath and get them out of the map for the future sell, because people are not going to sell their SQ for now, for the next few years. So we'll see. For a new buyer, people that want to replace their X32, people that want to replace their analog console and want to jump into the Wing wagon, I believe the compact will be a really good entry point, to be honest. I believe every band on the planet is going to replace their X32 rack with a Wing rack as soon as that get released. I'm actually telling to some people to hold on for the Wing rack to build their in-ear rig, because I believe it will be that good. 24 input is more than enough for any, monitor split for a band if you want to run your own in-ear monitor. Man, it's going to be good. 24 input, maybe 16 output, plus a left-right and an AS EBU port, and the availability to connect 2 or 3 stage bucks if you want to have more. The Wing rack is going to be killer. It's going to be the monitor rig for any band. And I'm going to buy one. No matter if I have to pay MAP for it, I'm gonna figure out a way to get, a wing rack, and eventually in the dream that I'm living, I want to have 2 wing compact, and I want to have touring racks with them, where I'm gonna have a wing compact with my stage box under it. Even if I have 24 input on it, I want to have split gain. I own already the DL231 that I need for that, but I want to have a touring rack where I have a UPS, my DL231, my wing compact on top of it, and just lifting one top, removing the cover, and call it a day. I want to own that rack, and I want to have the same case for front of house. And in the front of house, I'm gonna have that. Let me grab one in French for now. Danny, salut Danny. Tu gardes ta wing finalement. Est-ce que j'ai vu qu'elle était à vendre? Je me trompe. Elle est à vendre, mais en ce moment, je n'ai que des offres ridicules pour ma console. Donc, je ne vais pas la donner. Je vais la garder tant qu'à faire des offres complètement ridicules. He's basically asking me if my wing was still up for sale. I'm not keeping it. For right now, I'm going to keep it. It's on sale. It's on, Reverb. It's on a couple of local Facebook website, and some people send me email about it, but I'm getting totally ridiculous offer of like $1,000 for it with the case. So I'm going to keep it. I paid roughly $5,000 Canadian for the wing when it came out. I'm asking right now for Canadian, which is a deal because they sell for $5,650, I believe, at Cosmo Music, and it's not in stock. So you cannot buy one right now. Danny, si ça te dérange pas, je vais répondre à celle-là en anglais. He's asking, it's funny because we're like 3 or 4 people in Quebec to have one. Well, actually, we're more than that because I know a lot of people. On the top of my head, we have my friend Merlin, which is around the New Brunswick area, that owned one. Kai, Dominique Lampron from the band Kai is using one as front of house console. Bianca Bernier is using one mostly on tour with Les Sœurs Boulay and other bands. Samuel, who's here, or if you were, I don't know if you're still around, is owning one. So there's a lot of people. It's not like those are the one that I can name from the top of my head. There's more than 3 or 4 in here. Boreal Production has 2 of those in stock for rental. LSM in Montreal has a couple of those, 2 or 3 for their own gigs. So no, it's not like, nobody owned them. There's people that do own them, and there's a bunch of church that own them. There's Danny, there's a couple people that have them. Is it the most? It's not as popular as Yamaha for now. It's not as popular as X32 for now, but yes, they're there. Hey, it's been a while. Jonathan, it's been a while, man. I should just keep doing these streams for a longer time then, so you have time to join in, right? Forget stage box, add wing rack. Oh, come on. I want to do it. Actually, at some point, I was thinking about selling my wing and getting a rack with 2 wing rack in it. So you get 48 preamp with 16 output for sure, and maybe more than that, maybe 32. And you can just use a single AS50 cable to jump between the 2, and you could do your own, split in there and using both input of both console at the same time. You can do that. I was thinking about that. And if it's that cheap, I may do it so I can run in-ear monitors and front of house on separate wing rack. But honestly, it would make just more sense for me to have a full rack. Well, okay, let me phrase it the other way. The rack that I have right now where I want to build my wing rack is an 8U rack. So I'm going to have 4 units taken by the wing rack itself. It's going to be 4U. And I want to have a DL8 in here on the other side, and I'm going to have space for probably a 1U UPS in there for power. And I wanted to have a drawer, but there's no space for it anymore, so maybe I'm going to remove the UPS and just drop a power bar with a bunch of tape in the bottom of the case. And I don't know, man. I just don't know. I want to have a rig that I can, you know, I have 8 rack space on wheel. I want to have a full rig that I can just show up in a bar with, you know, my friend. If I want to go do a show with my friend from Hook and just drop that on stage, connect everything in there, in-ears, everything is going to be in there, and call it a day. That's it. That's like my wedding rig. Yeah, there you go. I want to have that. I want to have that kind of rig. It's basically an XR18 on steroid. This is the kind of stuff that I'm striving for. I want to have that. I already have my, you know, my Flow 8. If I want to do small corporate gigs, I'm using that from time to time. It's a great console. It's doing everything that I need to do. I can mix, you know, a couple wireless mic and do video with it, because most of the time when I'm using the Flow 8, it's for 1 to 4 wireless mic and a little bit of ambient music, and I do live stream because I do offer the service of live stream for all my clients in Montreal. They want to do a hybrid event where they, you know, stream on Teams, where they stream on platform, and I'm doing a conference in the room, so I can EQ my stuff, you know, having my 4 fader or my 8 fader of the Flow 8 up, and I can grab the sound in my Blackmagic ATEM and do my stuff and call it a day. So yeah. Did I miss anybody's question? Sorry, I went on rambling for a while here. Did I miss anybody's question? Let me know. Let's talk about looms. Do they make things faster for setup, breakdown? What are the downside? Well, the downside is if you know that you have really well-made custom looms and you didn't roll them yourself, well, you're gonna be up for trouble. But I probably showed that in a couple of my vlogs. I used to have a touring kit with my X32 core, my DL251, and everything was plugged in the back of the 251. I had 4 wires coming out of that for 5 musicians. I have 1 drum loom that was made custom for that drum, or, you know, with a bunch of loose on it. And I was using really tiny can air cable that I probably have around here. Nope, I cleaned this place up. It's not around here. But I have really thin can air cable that I was using for that. And my drum loop was basically the size of a big Cat 5. And I had 10 channel in there, plus my drummer's return for is in here. After that, I had my guitar player. Him was really simple. It was 2 XLR for his Helix or whatever sampler he was using, and a microphone, and 2 for his little 2 1/4-inch jack for his little console. After that, I had my bass player. Even simpler. It was a single line for his bass and a single line for his vocal, a left and right for his little console that he was using, because he's using wired in-ear. And after that, I had the singer. It's my friend Simon. You guys saw him on the channel before. He's using a stereo guitar, a stereo in-ear, and a vocal. And the bass and Simon was together. I had a 50-footer for him for, you know, the bass and the vocal. They were 25 foot apart. You know, I had a cable running 50 feet to my bass player, and after that I had an extra 25 foot to connect to Simon's rig. My guitar player was a 50-footer that was running around. My drummer was a 25-footer, I believe, the longest cable in there. And I set up the rack next to my drummer, uncoiled my cable, and it was just held together with tape. Yes, electrical tape. and I was using different color of tape for different loon. So the green one was the drum, the blue and white one was the bass and singer, and the red one was for my guitar. And I had a keyboard. Yes, I keep forgetting about that. I had a keyboard one. The keyboard was a left-right for keyboard, a left-right for in-ear monitor, a vocal, and extra line for sax, depending on the player that we had that day. Or regular player had a sax in his rig. So it was a 50-footer, all coming together, all taped together, and it was good. Many reliability issue? No, because I built everything myself with Nutric connector and cat air cable, and I wrapped those myself. You know, they need to be coiled a certain the right size to fit in the rack, because I was using the space of a 2U rack and just coiling, you know, my drum in the back. After that, the keyboard in the front. After that, the other big one for bass player and lead vocal in the bottom, and sliding my guitar one on there, and my keyboard was, you know, in between these two, and the rack was closing. It was a bit heavy, but it saved me so much time. I'm gonna answer one question again from Danny. I'm gonna answer this one in French. Don't worry, Downs of Dream, I'm coming back to you. J'utilise ma wing avec un S32. Je sais que les DL32 sont supposés être supérieurs. Je sais également que tu utilises un DL251. Qu'est-ce que tu penses de tout ça, la qualité sonore? Honnêtement, si tu as la chance d'avoir un DL251, je pense que ça vaut la peine personnellement. Mais c'est un gros investissement pour la différence que tu vas avoir. Ça va fonctionner pareil avec un S32. I'm allergic to French, apparently. Basically, his question was, I'm going to translate that for you guys. He's using his wing with an S32. He noted that the DL32 was supposed to be better and wondered if basically upgrading to a DL251 worth it. I'm hearing the sound quality difference, but a DL32 is going to work anyway. But I'm hearing the sound quality. I'm hearing the sound difference between the three units. It's not a major upgrade between the DL32 and the 251, but there's a little bit of difference. But yeah. Also Dreams. I like Cat 5 Analog Snake. Yes, they work really good with long label XLRs on them for all the drums and overhead tots. Well, yes, because it's usually I set up my patch on stage next to the drum, so usually I don't need to run long cable for Cat 5. So if possible, I would go with just regular XLR and just connect everything into the stage box, or leave it, you know, always together. Maybe something like a DL8 will be an option here, because you can remember that you can daisy chain DL8. Maybe one or two DL8 connected together with a, you know, if you have space, get a drum loon, make yourself a drum loon with everything that you would need, you know, 2 kick, 2 snare, hi-hat, tom, floor, overheads, a ride, and maybe a return for, you know, in-ear monitors or just monitors on there. Yeah, it would make sense for you to do that and not use Cat 5 for that, because Cat 5 are fragile. The other way that I would use Cat 5 would be if I have regular player. I'm going to use those little boxes. Hold on, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. If possible, I would drop something like this on the stage. This is a male to female one with Cat 5 connectors, but having something like this, let's say on a guitar pedal board, and having a tail on the other side to connect to your Cat 5 is a good solution. You just have to be careful. You need to have good Cat 5 and a little finicky with 48 volt. Well, if using shielded Cat 5, it should be good. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I would use if I were to use Cat 5, and I would connect, you know, my Cat 5 to something that is permanent. Let's say that I'm doing a touring kit. I'm gonna probably take something like this. Let's say for a guitar pedal board, I'm gonna use all the 4 cables. I'm gonna use, let's say, guitar left and right and vocal in the talkback. I would put that box on the pedal board, connect one cable to that, and the other side in the rack will be on a patch panel. So the only thing that can really break is the Cat 5 itself, and I would bring extra Cat 5 if I were on the tour doing that. That's how I will build it. After that, yes, just regular Loon, regular XLR just work fine, to be honest. Danny aussi par rapport au Stagebox Connect, au Stagebox Stage Connect. Les Stagebox Stage Connect, c'est pas, il n'y aura pas de préamp, il n'y aura pas de préamplificateur. Ça te prend le nouveau DL8 ou DL16 pour avoir des préamps au bout de ton H45. Les Stage Connect, c'est vraiment fait pour des choses qui sont en niveau line. Ça fonctionne pas pour des préamps. My idea is to have the L16 with the SD16 and interact with a DL8 for a wireless rack and mic. While we're at it, why don't you guys think about the DL8? The DL8 will be a self-powered with a Pro, the Hub Pro 4. The Hub 4 Pro, Hub 4 Pro. It will be self-powered, so you only need to run a single RJ45 with the stage box. So basically it's the same thing as this, or kind of like this, where you only have one cable connected to it. It's basically replacing a Veeam that we were using back in the day. Those 12 pair. They were connected one end on the stage rack side, or the patch side, and the other side you would just plug it in, and you would have 16 by 4 now, or 12 by 4. Now the DL8 is 8 by 8, but you could definitely build a tour rig where you're gonna have a box XLR coming to your microphone and just one cable. You just leave everything, you just wrap everything on the stage box, put it on the case. Next show you undo that, bring up your cable, just go one RJ45 between the box, but you're gonna be digital. So you're gonna have a really short amount of analog cabling. So I believe this is the thinking of the DL8. They're think more like sub-snake than replacement, the snake. So this is why I'm thinking about getting the Hub 4 Pro, and for now one DL8. I'm gonna see what's happening with the DL8, but this is probably where I'm gonna go eventually in the future, where I'm gonna have one stage box, per guy, and you just drop it in one cable, go to the other one, drop it in one cable. That way you only run 4 or up to 4 cable for 32 input, and after that you have some local stuff in your rack, local preamp in your rack. But that's the thinking, I believe, behind the DL8, or this is how I would use DL8. All right, did I miss anybody's question? Because we've been going at this for about an hour and a half now. I'm gonna soon run out of coffee, and I need to go on with my day, because like I told you before, I just woke up. All good, everybody's happy. Maybe I have time for one more question. If not, that's going to be it for now. While I'm waiting for those questions, I'm going to say, hey, thank you very much for hanging out with us today. If you have time after this live stream, please go check out my latest video that I release about time alignment, or understanding time alignment and phasing in monitor situation. And I'm going to do another video about that where I explain how in small room I delay my PA to be in phase with the backline, Because the thing is, what you basically need to understand is when you replicate a sound source at two different distances in a room, you're going to create unnatural sound effect or unnatural sound phasing, and stuff is going to cancel itself in the air. So basically, the trick that I've learned over the year is when you have a backline setup, you want to try to have all your guitar amp and your snare, which are the loudest stuff on stage, pretty much at the same distance. You know, make a straight line. You want to measure from there and want to know the distance between your backline and your PA, and you want to delay the PA by that amount. So when I'm gonna do it on the other side, when the sound's gonna travel from the backline, you know, the drummer gonna hit that snare or the guitar player gonna play something, the sound's gonna travel to the front. It's gonna be then almost, because not everything's gotta be perfectly in phase, but almost in phase or in time, traveling, catching up the PA, and then they're gonna add up together to, you know, give sound to the crowd. In a perfect room, the absorption of the room will be there to totally kill your sound, and the crowd will be there to totally kill your sound, and you won't have any reverberant frequencies in that room. But that's another topic for another day. Let's say that we live in a perfect world. But yeah, I need to do that video. I've been taught that by a system tech many years ago, probably 15 years ago, and I've been using this in smaller room. It saved me a lot of trouble because everything is not fighting with one another. Everything is like in time to the crowd and in time to you at front of us, and the band really don't feel that, you know, delay or that latency happening at all. So it's a trick that I've been using for years, and it's served me well in you know, bad situation or smaller. The smaller the venue, the more you have to pay attention for all that stuff, because the sound on stage is going to influence what's come out of PA and what you understand from all that stuff. So yeah, I hope that you learn. I hope that it's gonna make you learn about sound traveling into the air, because this is what we're dealing with at the end of the day, especially in live sound. Anyway, so no more question for today. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you very much for sticking around with us. If you make it to the end in playback, make sure to leave a comment. I just heard something falling in my house. I'm gonna go take a look at that. So please, until the next one, take care of yourself, and I will see you all next week, or I believe so. This month's gonna be rough for the live stream, but I'll let you guys know. Till the next one, take care of yourself. See ya.